What's going on, everyone? I'm Andrew J. Welcome to episode 8 of J by the Bay. I'm excited to be back and look forward to discussing today's topics. Today, we'll be covering the LeBron James news. Yes, we are a football show first, but we're thrilled to be sharing the news with you. Remember, football news, football conversations, football year round. Or should I say basketball news, basketball conversations, basketball year round. I don't know. Without further ado, joining me as always on Monday, Blair Cologne. What's up, brother?
What's up, guys? I'm doing good. Had an interesting weekend. Shared a little bit with you about how my emotions went. If you've seen anger management, there's a quote in there that describes it all for me. But we'll dive into it. I understand completely. I'm excited to talk about it. Excited. Every Monday, like we do on Mondays. It's always a blast. Shout out to you, man, for putting this always together. I'm ready to get into it when you are, man.
Always, brother. All right, everybody. With that being said, let's get into it. All right, so LeBron James, everybody's heard the news, signed with the Philadelphia 76ers last Friday. I think the news broke sometime in the afternoon.
Yeah.
Philadelphia, I know it was in the mix, kind of a little bit of a shocker, though. I know I personally, it looked like all the signs were, pointing to Golden State. I know we all hoped that he was gonna, go back home to Cleveland. I don't know, where were you when the news dropped?
I I was at work, middle of my shift at work, busy weekend coming up, had no thoughts of what was going to happen. And one of my coworkers comes back inside from being outside and is like, "Hey, did you see LeBron just went to Philly?" And I like looked up and I was like, "Shut up, you're lying. Like, why would you say that?" And she was like, "I'm not lying." And I didn't have my phone by me. Ran to my phone, saw it was Philly, and like anger management, the first thing that I had was anger, just pure anger. And diving into anger because it's the second time that we have been strung along as Cleveland, and I feel like we're the girl waiting to be asked to the prom. Like, and you know that the guy that might be asking you has like three other people that are on the potential list. And you're like,
I
just
mean,
make your decision. Just make your decision to make it
but
easier.
at the same time, I mean, you had to know it was coming. Like, it's just some, see, like me, it's like he fooled me twice because I mean,
Yeah.
so the whole, the official decision, the first time when he went from Cleveland to Miami, but then, and I never thought he was coming back to Cleveland after he left
Yeah.
Miami. I was shocked by that, and then actually, I know it looked like all the signs were pointing to LA the third time after he came home,
Yep.
won the championship
Yeah.
with the Cavs, but then. I mean, that even kind of caught me off surprise. So I was like, after that, I'm like, I'm done with it. I mean, before all the stuff, dropped that he said that he was, leaving LA. I never thought, it was possible. I thought he was just going to
Yeah.
stay in LA, going to retire as a Laker, whatever, all that. But so when he did that, I was like, Jesus. And
So speaking
then, I
of
mean,
speaking on that, and I feel like this LeBron is smart. He's super smart. He knows what he does.
oh, he's a
If you
businessman too.
if you remember a few years ago, the Cavs were in the playoffs. No one expected this, but LeBron just and his wife just came to the playoff game. I believe LA wasn't in the playoffs at the time. I think they got eliminated. But he
Oh
showed
yeah, because
up and
that would have been a real bad look for him if
he sat courtside. And that was where it all started. Was like, wait a minute, why is he coming to this game to watch this team play? Then, you know, he
kind of
he's
dropping
being
hints.
he's dropping hints throughout the whole year and throughout the whole offseason, posting on Instagram when he's in Akron. This summer and this was one of my main arguments. I told you he's driving around Akron. People are seeing him. He's
Playing golf at
playing golf.
Firestone, doing all that.
Yeah, and he's dropping all these hints. So it's like, dude, like I get it. You want to be in the front. You're letting everybody know. And when you're telling people like this move isn't about basketball, it's not about anything other than happiness. To me, it just didn't make sense to have your family somewhere and then have to commute like he's going to do from New York to Philly. I know it's a short commute, but to me, I thought you have,
That's the thing. It's not though.
yeah,
It's almost a 2 hour commute if
yeah.
you're driving. So
And
I mean, He's gonna be pulling out the PJ.
and
That's a
you
private
have
jet for
a
all you elderly people out
yeah,
there.
and you have a multi-million-dollar mansion in Akron, and you were spending this whole time in Akron. It just made sense to me to come home and to to be one of the few players that started their career for a city and come back home, end that time in this city. That to me was like, LeBron is a storybook guy. This is storybook ending. This is a, they're going to document this. They're going to have a documentary of his last time in Cleveland.
Well, and
That's
that would have been
that's the
like the
fan in
Cinderella
me's
story too.
reaction.
Well,
Yeah.
and then, but like I feel like he just keeps contradicting himself because he keeps talking
Hmm.
about what he originally says, like, when I got that third championship in Cleveland, that's when I thought I was the GOAT. It's like, okay. And then he's saying it's not about the money, it's not about family. And then he basically says it's about championships. It's okay. Oh,
Yeah.
like, all right, so it is about you
Yeah.
are still chasing Jordan. And it's like, so like, I mean, that was my thing. I thought he just didn't care anymore, but it's like, all
Yeah.
right, man, you clearly are still chasing Jordan.
Yeah.
And that's okay. If that's, I mean, that's
And
all right, but
I
just
wish
come out, and say that.
exactly. I wish just sometimes LeBron would be like, it was like when he went to Miami and he did that commercial of like, I don't know, should I embrace being the villain? Dude, just embrace something. Embrace it. Like if
Make your
that's
mind
where
up.
if you're gonna stand on that, stand on that. I will respect you so much more if you tell me straight up this is what's gonna happen or this is how I am. And who knows, maybe when LeBron's career is done, he's probably gonna do something like Jordan did with the last dance. Who knows? Maybe we get a lot of that. He's revealed a lot more with his barbershop podcast. I don't really listen to that podcast.
I don't
Um,
really, yeah, too. I'll tune
but
in once in a while, but I don't listen to the
yeah,
whole thing.
my big takeaway after that was the emotional side of me was pissed. Was like, you know what? Screw this dude. He left us. He's always egging in the face Cleveland. It's always this backhand. Like you love us, but you throw this backhand at us. Then I sat and thought about it and I was like, I think it's a good thing for Cleveland, for the Cavs. I really do.
That he didn't
Because,
resign.
yeah, I do. Because this team has a core. I think Evan Mobley and Donovan Mitchell is a great foundational core. I really like Donovan Mitchell. I like this team. I want to see can Kobe Altman be creative, and I wrote it down as like a question going into this year. Can he get creative and add a piece to this team? I
Well,
think
I
we're
think,
one piece away still, but let's see what he can
I,
do.
I mean, I don't think you're going to get that piece in this offseason because I think
Hmm.
they just, I mean, they're the most, they had the highest
Yeah.
payroll in all the NBA last
Yep.
year. Um, I mean, if honestly, if this is only going to help Evan Mobley, now
Yeah.
me personally, after last season, and it's Evan Mobley, he could still be one of the top defensive players in the league, but he's not going to be this Kevin Durant,
Yeah.
type player that it's just not him. But they keep expecting him to be this player, and that's going to be a top five player in the league, and that's just not him, and that's okay. But
Hmm.
I think if you bring in LeBron, I'm not saying it's going to just completely make him into a terrible player, but I think it effectively harshes and just stunts his growth as a player. Mobley's
Yes.
24. Yeah, I believe he's still 24, so he's still a young guy. He's not even in his
Hmm.
prime. Already has a Defensive Player of the Year award under his belt.
Yeah.
If he just gets that toughness, and I think with Donovan Mitchell signing that extension, it looks like James Harden's going to be resigning. And I think James Harden has bought in and embraced, kind of the back seat to Donovan Mitchell. He knows it's not his team.
Yeah.
And I think that'll only help, the evolution of like players like Mobley and that.
Yeah.
So I mean, as
And
far as being as a Cavs standpoint, that's why I mean, I honestly I didn't want LeBron going back to Cleveland. I mean,
hmm
obviously as Cavs fans, we would have embraced him with
yeah.
open arms. I mean, we're not gonna say no, don't come back. He's
Yeah.
earned every right to come back anytime he wants. But
hmm
as a Cavs fan, I think this
So,
only just it keeps the fun.
oh yeah.
The material that they have on the court right now.
Yeah.
It makes that still fun, and it makes them fun to watch as a team.
I agree with you. And I think that's where a lot of Cavs fans with this decision got a little bit more hurt because you go into the offseason and we know there's not a lot we can do. There's not a lot we can do to add to this team. So when LeBron says I'm not going to stay in LA, you're like, oh, maybe, you know, who knows? Who knows what he decides to do? And then he comes out and says, well, I'd be willing to take the vet minimum to go to a team. That right there, you're like, as a caster, you're like, hold on, wait a minute. He's willing to do that. That that right there gets you excited because you're like, okay, this team is probably a piece away. And if you can add a player like him with the experience, maybe that helps Donovan Mitchell, helps Evan Mobley get over this hump. Again, that was the fan in me being like, I want this to happen. But when I sat back and looked at it, I was like, I had so much fun watching this team. And I forgot that James Harden wasn't even here a whole year last year.
No,
So
it's
the
no, he
the
wasn't.
chemistry and then him getting hurt, players getting hurt, like the chemistry, like you have no chance to build that. You're basically just going out there and being like, all right, let's do the best we can. So
Well, and you're
giving
just
them,
closing the window too.
yeah, yeah. So giving them a full year, giving them a full off season to get together, to, have these full practices. I mean, at one point they weren't even. I forget how long they said they had went without even doing a practice, like a live practice. It
Well,
was
that's
like
yeah.
almost like
They
two
were it
weeks
was
that
three
they went.
games because they
Yeah,
traded for Harden on the road. I think their first game was in Sacramento,
yeah,
which not to knock Kings fans, but that's a good tune-up game,
yeah.
without practicing.
So
But
so you don't even really have a full idea of what this team can be when they're fully gelled together. I still think, they need to figure out something to bring in to the team via trade, anything like that. But all in all, I'm excited for this season. That's why my roller coaster of a weekend with the reaction was, angry, then was like cool, calm. Then it kind of went to like a sad, just because being in Cleveland, and going to so many Cavs games, I thought I was going to have at least one more season of LeBron in a Cavs jersey.
well, and
That's
then
just
again, like,
that's just me being the Cavs fan, but like, I went to the playoff game against Toronto where he hit the bank shot for the game winner. I never thought that would be the last time I would see LeBron in a uniform.
well, that's when
Amazing
it became
way to
LeBron's
go
day.
out. Yeah. And I mean, I think that's where a lot of Cavs fans were like, oh, like everyone had this idea of it's never gonna happen. Then it looked like it was gonna happen, and then it's egg in your face. So I
Well, and
think
then but
a lot
that's
of them
but
feel like that.
but that's also the thing. I think everybody, and me included, until I kind of came to my senses, everybody's still just chasing that
Hmm.
2016 title. That's you got to figure LeBron was 31 when that happened. That's it's just not it's not him anymore.
Yeah.
It's 10 years later. We keep chasing that. I remember we were
Hmm.
talking the other day how when LeBron left, Kyrie was already gone, and then Kobe Altman panics and signs Kevin Love to that lucrative extension.
Yeah.
It's like what are you doing, man? It's like you're throwing money away. It's like nothing against K Love, he
Yeah.
eventually kind of pulled into it, bought into that six-man role,
Yeah.
but that's you're just throwing money away. So I
Yeah.
mean, I think once you kind of just focus on the group that you have now, you have the core group that you have. You got Mitchell, Mobley, Harden for now. Just stick with the group you got. Keep adding some role players, where you can. They don't have a lot of money to work with, but just stick with that. But anyways,
Yeah.
I mean, let's back to James. I mean, what does he still bring to the table? I mean, I think he's still an exceptional floor general. I think if he really buys into that point guard role, kind of like what James Harden does now,
Hmm.
I think if he fully buys into that, that's where he's going to succeed in Philly. But I mean, there's no question. I mean, I don't think anybody really looks at the analytics on his defense. His defense has declined dramatically. So I mean, his defensive rating last year was 115.7, and just for reference, considered bad is anything 112 and above. Like that's
Yeah.
112 would be bad, but
Yeah.
115.7 is very bad. So I mean, it doesn't always show, but that's yeah, his defensive game has
Yeah.
declined.
And for a team that, with Joel Embiid, that I mean, he's always got the injury bug. Like, I want to see what Philly does. because I thought that they had a nice young team. Adding LeBron to it, the cameras are going to be on you more now. You have gone from a team that, like, hey, we expect this with Embiid, to now it's this or it's a failure. And for some guys that can really make you shine, and other guys it can really hurt. I think adding Jalen Brown is going to really help them, especially when he was
It's a lot of star
an
power though now.
NBA Finals MVP. But it's a lot of lights, because even that trade brought a lot of lights to Philly. Now with this signing, there's a lot of pressure that's going to come
Well,
to that.
how about this? As far as legacy for LeBron, where would you put this whole decision on?
I think it I think it hurts a little bit, even if he wins a final. I think if he wins the finals, and then somehow he goes back to the finals the next year, um, he's still going to be arguably top two, three players. I just think adding another jersey, seeing you in, I think that a lot of people, it'll leave a sour taste in the mouth. It's almost like Kevin Durant jumping to go get the title. If he were to come out and just say that that's what it's about, I think that helps. But
See
him
about the
saying
Durant. See, I think Durant's. I think is way worse because Durant didn't even win a
his
ring.
is a lot
His
worse.
was his
His is
was
a lot
because he had
worse.
lost. They
Yeah.
lost, or they. Yeah. See, I
Yeah.
mean, I don't think it's completely tarnished. I think it is slightly affected. Now, if he goes and
Yeah.
wins a ring, you figure they haven't made it past the first round. Was it? No, they haven't made it past the second round since the Iverson days, 25
Yeah.
years ago. Haven't won
Yeah.
a title in the city of brotherly love. 43 years. So I mean, if he goes in there, they win a title, in the next 2 years. I think he's okay. I mean, I think legacy's fine. Um, but yeah, I mean, if he wins a ring, I think it does help his legacy a little bit. But if he goes in there, say they get, bumped in the first round, or
Hmm.
heck, even bumped to, the Eastern Conference, I think it is slightly tarnished.
Yeah.
I mean, again, at the end of the day, he's a businessman, though. I mean,
Yeah.
who knows what he's doing?
Yeah.
Like I said, I mean,
It's
if he wasn't a businessman, I think he'd be living in Philadelphia. I don't think he'd be
yeah.
commuting from New York City. So
Yeah.
he's definitely got some other business ventures going
Yeah.
on.
And the whole, when you told me that we were going to react to this, it was like, man, I gotta keep the personal feelings out of it as much as I can, and give, some of the emotion feedback, but think about a big picture, think about everything. And like, it just brought me back to, we're in a completely different generation, I feel like. And I was talking to people about it at work, like telling them, like, it's now, uh younger kids and like younger adults, they follow the player before the team. Whereas me,
Oh,
you,
that's
like
terrible too. It kind
like
of
you,
it ruins the
me,
game. Ruins
yeah,
the
like
integrity of the game.
I've always been, I'm team, 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 team. And I remember one time asking for a Chad Johnson jersey. This is young Blair, before Ocho Cinco came around. He was just still Chad Johnson. I asked my dad, "Hey, will you give me this jersey for Christmas?" And he said he went into the store, and it was the most painful thing he's ever done. He was about to buy me like the authentic stitched jersey, and then he put it back. And my mom was like, "Why are you putting it back?" And he's like, "I'm going to teach him a valuable lesson." So when I open it Christmas Day, I'm excited because it's Chad Johnson jersey I wanted. Later on in life, he tells me that he wanted to show me to be loyal to the city before the player. Like, you like Chad Johnson, obviously, but you should be a Browns fan first. Because I did tell him I think I'm going to be a Bengals fan, and he did not like that. Now he
You see, if I would have said
apologizes.
that to my dad, that would have been a backhand.
He was ready to, and then he apologized later on in life. He was like, "Hey, I'm sorry that I made you this hardcore of a Browns fan." Like,
Boy,
it's
yeah, because that's talk about child abuse.
that's what he said. He's like, "Well, at least the Cavs and the Indians and Guardians they're pretty good." But I
Heck,
even
man,
think about,
you couldn't even mention Art
oh,
Modell's name in my house.
don't say Steelers. Don't say Steelers. Don't say
Oh
it.
man,
But I mean, that's just that's how we grew up, and I'll be the same way with my kids. Like they're going to be fans of the players, and the reason I bring that up is I remember being in high school with the decision one, and we had friends. I don't know if you remember. I won't say their names, but we had friends back then that they would tell you and me like, "Oh, if LeBron leaves, I am no longer a Cavs fan. I'm a LeBron fan," and it always blew my mind. Like
Oh, yeah, and all those
to
dudes in the
be to be to
they
be
had
a
the Heat
player
jerseys.
first, yeah, and to rock the Heat. Like I could never do it. I could never do it. There's players obviously on other teams I have jerseys of, um, but I was always Cleveland first. Always. It just always blew my mind. And then to now, it's like it's just common thing. Like
Well, I'll
my
keep to keep your
go ahead.
to keep the emotions with it. Here's a little fun fact though. So, all right, so LeBron's been 23 seasons in the NBA. So now he's played the most,
Yeah,
with the Cavaliers. But just think about it. All right, so he's played with the Cavaliers, Miami Heat, Los Angeles
yeah.
Lakers. I'm not even counting Philadelphia because it actually affects the percentage. But he
Hmm.
has now played under 48% of his time has been out of Cleveland. So
Wow.
it's under 48% that he's been in Cleveland.
Wow.
So he's actually
That's
been
wild.
he's been more in another jersey than he has been in a
That's
Cavaliers
wild.
jersey.
That's crazy.
I mean, it's think about that. Isn't that nuts?
It is because I can see in my head right now all the huge moments that he had as a Cavs player. I mean, I can still remember watching him suit up game one against Sacramento and watching it with my dad being like, holy crap, like let's see what happens here with Carlos Boozer, Darius Miles, and Ricky Davis on this team and Big Z. And now LeBron.
All right, so but with LeBron signing with Philly, really stirs up the whole Eastern Conference and that. I know where I got them. Like where as of right now, like where do you have them? Like as far as like outlook, where they stand in the Eastern Conference?
So I have Philly third in the Eastern Conference. I think
Third. Okay.
adding Jalen Brown is going to be a very big piece, but adding LeBron as well. My big question for them though is playoff time. Are we going to be healthy come playoff time? Joel Embiid is the big question mark with that one because even in this playoff, he started off fine and then he got appendicitis, which not on him, not his fault, but you know, all these guys that you got there in Philly, like if they're not on the court, if they're not there to win 16 games, it's going to be looked as a failure, especially if you can't even make it to the Eastern Conference Finals. So I have them
Well,
third in the
man,
East.
you got him third. So yeah, see, I got him second, and I only got him second. Just, I mean, a lot of star power. So yeah, like I said, Joel Embiid, trade for Jalen Brown, Tyreek Maxey still,
Hmm.
LeBron James. I mean, do I dare say this is Tyreek Maxey's team? Because I mean, look, what was that? 2 years ago, Maxey actually called out Embiid saying like his
Yeah,
accountability wasn't there.
yeah,
He was holding him accountable. But then yeah, it's like Embiid's got to stay healthy. I actually was looking at everything, so he's played. I think it's a combined 490 games in 10 seasons, and I'm not even counting. He's technically been in the league 12 seasons. He was hurt those first two.
yeah, yep.
He has played. I think it comes out. He's played a combined full. If you're talking about 82 full, 82 games in the season, he's played under 6 seasons in the
Oh
NBA.
my God,
In 10 seasons,
that's
under
crazy.
under six.
I
I
saw
mean,
something. I saw something today where they said it's Joel Embiid's organization, it's Tyrese Maxey's team, but it's LeBron James's season. And I was like, that's an interesting way to look at it. It's an
where's
interesting way to
Ja-
look at it.
where's Jalen Brown fall in that?
They didn't. I think under with LeBron saying it's their season, I was like, it's gonna be an interesting thing to see what Philly does because Jalen Brown coming out and saying like it was the most fun season he's had, and Tatum was not a part of it. It shows he's an emotional guy that'll say some stuff. So is he going to be coexisting with LeBron with this? Going to Philly thinking like this is my team. I'm NBA Finals MVP, but now we're adding LeBron to this. The cameras were already going to be bright there. I think it just got a lot brighter. And if there's any turmoil in this locker room, if there's anything that's coming out of it, I mean, Maxi calling out Embiid saying like your accountability is not here. Could we run into a situation where like there's some
Well,
button heads?
I mean, that's the thing too. It's like, I mean, Jalen Brown. I mean, I don't even know what was it because he wanted to be the focal point in Boston. It's like
Yeah,
you're certainly not going to be the focal point in Philadelphia. I mean, you're definitely going to be like arguably the top player on the team. But yeah, I mean, Embiid, he's still, injuries or not, he's still a top five center when he's healthy. You know, I mean, I think this is actually Embiid's probably last shot at a ring in Philly. I think if they don't do something in
yeah.
2 seasons, I think he's out. I mean, he's also 32 already.
Hmm.
But I mean Brown. I mean, can he be the number one option? I mean, I don't know if he meshes well in Philly like that. But yeah, like I said, I mean, I think I'd go so far to say this is Tyrese Maxey's team, and I think Philadelphia should do everything possible to keep him happy. But I mean, Maxey All NBA third team last year. I mean, he's a heck of a defensive player. Almost averaged 2 steals a game.
Yep.
But I just I don't know where. Like I said, I think it's for Philadelphia. I think LeBron has to be that point guard, and that's where I don't really know how that. I know the starters would be LeBron,
Yeah.
Maxey, Embiid, Brown, and then VJ Edgecombe. Who can't forget about VJ Edgecombe.
Yep.
Edgecombe, third overall pick last year, started as a rookie last year. Played I think it was 71 games. So and he started every single one. But yeah, I don't know where you line them all up, where you throw them on the court.
Yeah.
I mean, it's basically
Same
going to be
here.
like pick up basketball, where you're just like,
Hmm.
here's your guy, you take him. I mean, I don't know if you're playing a lot of zone
And
defense.
if let's say LeBron already he takes games off for rest, and B takes games off for rest. So if you guys take X amount of time off from rest, and you start noticing Maxi Brown and their other young talent while on the court together are meshing well, and then when you bring back Embiid and you bring back LeBron, it's kind of not as fluent. Going into the playoffs with that, that's going to be real tough. It's going to be real tough to keep going with it because now you're inserting pieces, you're taking them out at certain times, and bringing them back in. It's going to be a challenge. Versus, the Spurs. You look at a team like the Spurs in the West; they're already a core unit. You know what I mean? And even some of the teams that we'll talk about with the East, like they don't have that going on. I think that's going to be a real big challenge for them is having these guys on the court all at once to gel to really see what's possible.
And I mean, they at least they added some role players. They added Dean Wade, who, he's supposed to be a good 3-and-D player. He didn't show that last year with, Cleveland. But, they also, bring in Anthony Simons, who I think could be an excellent sixth or seventh man off the bench. Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, I do expect the Eastern Conference bid from Philly, but I think it's just too many star players on that squad. I think you
Yep.
could possibly see like, Brooklyn Nets situation, like when they had Durant, Harden,
Hmm.
Irving. So I mean, we'll see. I mean, they'll be fun to watch,
Oh
but
yeah.
I'm not seeing a ring this year. So Philly, you got him third. I got him second, finishing in the East. Uh, New York Knicks. I mean, we both agreeing they're
Knicks.
still the team to beat in the East.
I think they are the team to be in the East. There's
Nets.
it was tough. Um, I just think they're a solid overall team, and who knows? Like they might not finish number one in the East, just like last year, but I still think they're the top dog in the East. I think Jalen Brunson. I'm not the biggest fan of, but man, he's got a fight in him, and I give him
See,
a lot of credit. I give him a lot of credit.
Jalen Brunson and I think the writing was always there on the wall because Jalen Brunson, he was a Player of the Year at Villanova, won 3 national championships. I thought he should have been a lottery pick. I don't know how he filled to the early second round when he went to Dallas, but I thought he was the real deal in Dallas. So like when he went to New York,
Hmm.
I was like, this guy's gonna be good. But yeah, I mean he's proven that, and
Yeah.
he's ways All NBA. Finally got an NBA championship. But yeah, and then Cat, I
Cat,
feel like
yeah.
he's bought into that number two role.
Yep.
He knows he's not the guy, and that's
And
okay. I mean,
Hart being the defender, you know, gives you some offense at some points, but you
Hart,
know
OG
he's gonna,
Anunoby is
yeah,
arguably, I mean,
yeah,
he's
underrated,
arguably the he's arguably the
underrated.
best defensive small forward. I
Yeah,
mean, he's finishing top five every single season. Played
yeah.
outstanding in the playoffs. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, somewhat carried that team. I mean, everybody started stepping up. I mean, that was the thing in the playoffs. If one person was down, and this is the case for every NBA team in the playoffs, you could have a bad game, but somebody else has to step up. And that
Yep.
was the thing with New York. I mean, they had if Brunson had a game where he's
Yeah.
off, Anunoby was stepping up. Anthony Towns was stepping up. They always had, one or
Yeah.
two guys stepping up. And that's why they ended up going on that run. What they won nine
Mm-hmm.
games in a row,
Yeah.
ultimately,
Yep.
beating the Spurs in five
And
games.
even like for my team, like in Cleveland, like watching that series against New York, I was like, come on, like do something. We should be able to do something. And losing how we lose, but I think that they can come away from playing that, and I think that makes everyone in the East that had to go up against the Knicks realize like you lost to a team that is they're that good. They're that good. And
Uh,
you can take a lot from that. And that's why on my list, Cleveland, I have them still as a top six team. But the team that I bumped up to two that I said is going to be a challenge for New York, I think is Detroit. And it pains me as a Cleveland fan to say it. I think Detroit, they have a solid team. Defensively, when they played in the playoffs, I was shocked, and I got worried playing them. But I think them losing to Cleveland and realizing like, oh, the next round was where it was going to be the Eastern Conference Finals going up against the Knicks team. I think they match up well with that. I think that would have been a
you said Detroit, like if Detroit and New York matched up
yeah.
last year.
I think that's a tough matchup for both teams.
Well, I
Both
mean,
teams are
it's
both teams young. Cade Cunningham is a great player, and Detroit has those
like
players as
stepped
well
up,
that
finished. I
stepped
mean,
up.
Cunningham finished fifth in the MVP voting. NBA All NBA first team. I mean, he's a complete player.
Hmm.
I know like 2 seasons ago he was all talking about how it looked like he wanted out of Detroit. But yeah, I mean, if you really look at the fact that they won 60 games and you look at the roster that they had, I mean, they had Duncan Robinson, who was basically like who got kicked to the curb by the Heat. They had him starting at shooting
Yeah.
guard. But I mean, Detroit's a complete team. I mean,
Hmm.
they had Tobias Harris, who ended up signing with the Spurs. They had him 34 years old. He was stepping up in the postseason. But
Hmm.
I mean, they're going to be another good team. They lost
Yeah.
Harris and Isaiah Stewart, but they traded for John Collins, traded 2 second round picks for Isaiah Joe, who was brings that championship mentality from Oklahoma City. But yeah, and then Oscar Thompson finished third in the Defensive Player of the Year voting. I mean, they have a nice team. I mean, Jalen
Yeah.
Duran, I know he had a bad playoff run, but he's kind of getting in that top five center conversation.
Hmm.
Yeah, I mean, as a Cavs fan, in the Central, Detroit is a team that scares me a lot.
Yeah.
I mean, I think if they play together like they did the last year, I mean, I think they can make a playoff run.
I do too. I
So
really do.
you actually got him as your second team though.
I have them as second. So New
I mean,
York
I got
is
him.
first, Detroit second, Philly third are my top
Yeah,
three.
I mean, I got him four. I mean, to be honest, like anything outside of one for me, like from 2 to 5 or 2 to 6, it's kind of like it was tough. I mean, because I think you could go either way.
Yeah. I think for me, 4 through 6 was tough. I think
Okay,
I knew the top three I thought was going to be New York, Detroit, Philly. Next up at four, I had Cleveland.
so you got Cleveland
Then
at
I
four.
Cleveland at four, Boston at five, and then the Heat at six. And
Okay, so you got Cleveland under Detroit.
I do, I do. I think it's very close. I think having a full year with Harden on this team, and I put him at 4 because there's that chance to move up because who knows? There's a lot of rumors floating around on pieces that the Cavs are going to, go after. Um, do you get someone on a vet minimum? Do you make a trade to get us out of the second apron, allow us some flexibility? So I want to see what Kobe Altman can do because, every time I think there's nothing really that Kobe Altman can do, he does something. Um, I was a huge Darius Garland fan. I still am a Darius Garland fan. Bringing Harden into the team, I was shocked at first, but then it made sense to me as well.
That
And
was
I hope,
supposedly one of the factors why LeBron didn't want to come
yeah,
here to us with
yeah,
no
and
Darius Garland
and
anymore.
and that goes into how I felt with the reaction with LeBron is maybe Colby was like, dude, you're not going to run my team. Like, you're not going to tell me what we're going to do anymore because this isn't, like you said, this isn't 2016 LeBron. We're not getting that LeBron. You're coming to this team. Like, yeah, we want you here, but if you're going to tell us, like, Evan Mobley's got to go, or Jared Allen's got to go, or these foundation pieces got to go to bring in Anthony Davis and Kyrie Irving, like, that's not what we're going to do. And I respect us. I respect the GM that is willing to tell someone, like, I'm not doing that. I'm not letting you run my organization because I'm thinking of long term here.
I mean,
Like,
that's
you,
Kobe Allman, though. I mean, there's not much that he can do. I mean, other than re-sign Harden. I mean, he's not
mhm.
working with much here. I mean, he got the
No.
extension done. Got the extension done for Mitchell. I mean, it's looking like Harden's going to resign. I know they lost Dean Wade. I mean, I don't think he's worth the money that, was it 4 years, 39 mil or whatever it was. Keon Ellis, who was hardly
Yeah.
in the rotation in the playoffs, they lost him. But I mean, it's going to be a sixth season where you got Allen and Mobley in the front court. I thought Allen took us kind of a step back last year, but I think he can still, he is who he is. He's
Yeah.
not that, big 250-pound center
No.
who's going to box everybody out. But I think this is where they got to really step it up here. I mean, it's
I agree.
Mobley's got to be more consistent. He's got to play stronger. He's got to improve at the free throw line. He only shot about 60. I mean, it was, I think 60%, a little over
Yeah.
60% last year. If he's going to be shooting threes like the way he was, I think he averaged 4 threes a game. If he can't improve that percentage, stop shooting them. Stop shooting those
Yeah.
threes if you can't make them. But I mean, I think the last 2 seasons, I think were their legitimate shot to win a ring. But I mean, I'm not quite ready to say that their window is closed, but it's barely
No.
open right now at the point. But I mean, you got him 4. I
I
got him
do.
3, but I mean, that's just pretty much just because of the star power. I could flip
Yeah.
flop 3 or 4 because I got Detroit at
Yeah.
4. So I mean, that's like I said, like
And
after
I
the
think
second
we
week.
go ahead.
No, because I mean, after the second week in the season, I mean, I might flip flop those. I mean, I might be flip
Yeah.
flopping them all season long.
And I think we agree that no matter where those top almost 4 teams, the East is gonna run through there. It's gonna run through there. Wherever you decide to have them is up to you. But no matter what, because I mean it showed last year, the Knicks weren't number one, Detroit was. And Cleveland's played the, oh, let's get number one. We want to be top seed, and you still lose. So it shows that there's that competitiveness in the East that can come through. But I think ultimately those 4 teams, that's those are your top dogs. I think
I
one
agree. Yeah,
team, one team that is my next team at 5. I could see. I think it's going to be very hard for them. At 5, I have Boston, and that's another
Boston.
team
Okay.
going into this season. I think
Yep.
it's a lot of question marks on. All right, Tatum, like it's truly your team now. Can you really put the team on your back, rally the troops together? You know, Jalen Brown said what he said. Are you guys going to use it as fuel and go on this amazing run, or Tatum? Are you going to take a little bit of a step back? Um, we'll see what happens because I could see in a world where Boston kind of makes a run at this and they're a tougher team than everyone's giving credit. And we're just talking about Philadelphia and New York because they're the hot teams to talk about. And Boston's kind of been left at the wayside.
And I mean, yeah, I mean, and I got Boston 6. Yeah, I mean, well, I think we were talking about it before. I think it was slowly becoming Jalen Brown's team. I think there was more to the story with the whole Jalen Brown thing. I don't know if there was maybe a disagreement with Jason Tatum, but yeah, I mean, Tatum is healthy. I do think they take a small step back. I don't think they're going to be as lucky as last year, but I mean, that's why the whole Jalen Brown thing. I mean, he carried that team with Tatum. I mean, they were what second the whole year,
Hmm.
and then once Tatum came back, it's like, oh crap. And then they end up just crapping the bed in the first round with the
Yeah.
Philly. But yeah, I mean, traded for Paul George, who hasn't been able to stay healthy since his Oklahoma City days. I mean, he's nowhere near a replacement to, Jalen Brown. You know, Derek White's still one of the top, 3-and-D players in the league. So, I mean, you still got him there. Payne Pritchard's, he's developed into a pretty reliable point guard. Signed Mitchell Robinson, who, I mean, I failed to, say earlier, with the Knicks, I didn't think it was that big of a loss because he just became such of an offensive, liability. But, Mitchell Robinson, when he's playing hot, he's playing hot. He can,
Hmm.
give you like those 20 rebound games.
Yep.
And then, they also bring in, veteran leadership and, Mike Conley Jr. But yeah, like I said, I mean, I don't think they'll be as lucky as last year. I think they'll definitely regret trading away Jalen Brown come mid-season. But, you know, I think they make the playoffs, but I think it'll end up being another first round bounce for Boston. Yeah, I honestly don't see them being as lucky this year.
I think depending on who they get matched up with, Boston, that's going to be the interesting one. We're only talking about our top six teams, but there's some teams that we've been throwing around that aren't on our list that you and me have talked about. That I mean, if they figure it out, it's going to be a tough matchup. Like a team like Orlando, they're not in my top six, but I think they're going to be in the playoffs. And if they get matched up with Boston,
That could be a sneaky team that
it's gonna
Orlando can
it's gonna
be.
be a tough team. My number
Orlando,
six, yeah, Orlando just has to figure out offense. They just got to figure out their offensive shooting. I like Orlando's team. I really
well,
do.
you gave up four first round picks for Desmond Bain. I mean, there's your offense.
Yeah. At six, I had the Heat. Um,
You got them at six. I got them at five.
it's just that I get it. Adding Giannis, I do understand it. It's just a very odd combination of Giannis and Bam Adebayo.
And then give
It's
Bobby
just a
Portis the ball.
very
Bobby
yeah,
Portis got traded too. Let's give him
yeah,
some love.
yeah. And it's just on paper with the names, it's like, oh, it looks great. But then on the court, I want to see how that's going to look because you brought up a really good point to me. Like, they're both so inside heavy. Like, and you trade away all that roster depth. You have
Well, that's
like
the
your
roster's
roster is
depleted.
so depleted. Like, you went out and got that piece, and I almost feel like they were like banking on they got that piece, and maybe that was the way of getting another piece to come there. But I want to see what Miami actually looks like. Obviously, Giannis being Giannis, that's why I kept them at six because I still do think he has enough in the tank to carry them. And Bam Adebayo is a great player too.
I mean, yeah. I got him, at fifth. If as long as everybody stays healthy, I think they can, they can play. They'll be a fun team to watch. I'm really curious to see how him and Bam Adebayo mesh. I really don't know how they click. But I mean, we'll just see. I mean, they re-signed Andrew Wiggins. They signed Tim Hardaway Jr. away from Denver. Bobby Portis, like I said, he was also involved in that trade. I think he's been one of the top six men in the league.
Yeah.
Davion Mitchell, he's slowly turning into a pretty solid point guard. So I mean, but yeah, other than outside their top five and or top
Hmm.
six for Bobby Portis, I really don't see what they got there. I mean, they didn't really, they didn't draft high. Um, I mean, we'll see. I think it's too top heavy of a team.
Yeah,
Definitely a
I
playoff team to
agree.
me, but there's just not enough of a supporting cast there. But I
Yeah.
mean, like I said, they'll be a
And
fun team to watch, but I just don't think they're a
if
legitimate contender.
if God forbid like Adebayo goes down or Giannis goes down, I think
That's the
they
game.
go from a playoff team to a play-in team or potential not making the playoffs.
Oh, I don't even think they'd be a
Like,
playing team. I think you're talking lottery pick.
oh wow. Even with
I
just one
mean,
of them?
yeah. I mean, if Giannis goes down, Adebayo, I don't think he's never going to be a number one. He's 28 now. This is his prime. Yeah, it's just I think if Giannis goes down, that's your season. So that's I hope that he's working hard. This is not saying he's not,
Yeah.
but I hope they got his
He
conditioning down so he can play a full
I
season.
mean, he wanted out of Milwaukee and you got your wish. So, uh, can't the cameras in the East are going to be so bright because of all the pieces that have moved. It's going to be a crazy NBA season. Like, there's going to be so many stories coming out of it. Like, you know, players and teams, how they're doing, how they're meshing. That first week is going to be fun time to watch. But I think, like you said, like the second week, third week, once the teams actually start, figuring out that's when you're going to really get a good look at who's going to come out of the East. And I mean, even for a team like Miami that thinks like this is going to be great with adding Giannis, you might look back on it and be like, I don't know if this was the right fit here.
I mean, it'll help with ticket sales early on, but yeah,
Yeah.
other than that, I mean, I really don't understand the move. I mean, if they were able to bring in other pieces, like you mentioned, it was ideal, but you need a bench. You need
Yeah.
guys that can come in there. I mean,
New
he's
York
not playing
proved
the whole
that.
game.
New York
Yeah, well,
proved that
absolutely,
with guys coming
absolutely.
in.
But all right, man. All right. So we both agree. You got the Knicks one. You say you got Detroit two. I know I
Yep.
got them four. You got Cleveland
At
four,
four, Phillies at
or I got them
three,
three. I got them three.
and Cavs at four, Boston at five, Heat at
Okay.
six.
All right. And then I got Miami five and Boston at six. All right. We at least agree with the teams that are in
Yeah.
the top six. Our orders just
Yes.
kind of differ a little bit there. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we could. Yeah, at the end of the day, I think we could both agree that the Knicks are. I think they're the team to represent the Eastern Conference this year.
I
It just,
agree.
lost Mitchell Robinson, replace him with Andre Drummond. You know, Robinson, who's solid on the boards. Like I said, he's defensive liability. They re-signed Jordan Clarkson, Landry
Hmm.
Shamet, Jose Alvarado. So I mean, the front court's still intact. So it's Knicks fans have another season to be happy about. Another
Yep.
season to look forward to.
Yep.
And we'll see how it all plays out, though. I mean, injuries
Absolutely.
happen, trades happen.
You never know. You never know.
Still
And
got a
and
long off season. Season doesn't start until
and
October.
and like I said, like there's still the play-in teams that we didn't talk about. Like Toronto is going to be a play-in team, and they were tough. Orlando is a play-in team, the playoff team. They're going to be tough. There's still got teams out there that they can make it a very challenging year, and if they can add a player or figure out roster depth with the trade in the trade deadline or their draft picks, like you never know. And I just think that the top heavy Knicks though can figure that out. It's going to be it's a lot of people say it's a challenge going into the Garden and playing the Garden. So if the playoffs are running through the Garden, if the finals are running through the Garden, I mean that's a huge advantage for anybody. Huge
It's just yeah.
advantage.
Yeah, but just going back to it, not to mention the bench, but yeah, Brunson, Anunoby, Hart, Mikal Bridges too. We forgot
Yeah.
to mention, and then
Hmm.
Karl Anthony Towns. So yeah, it's a star-studded team. I mean, it really
Oh yeah.
is. Well, that'll do it for episode 8. Thank you again so much, everybody, for tuning in. The Jay by the Bay faithful. As always, thank you guys. Love you so much. As always, we are now on Spotify as well, including on Apple Podcasts and YouTube. So please hit that subscribe if you love these episodes. Blair will be back next Monday for episode, which will be episode 10. Don't forget, I got my solo podcast on Thursday as well. So the solo show will be going on as well. But yeah, thank you so much for tuning in. Blair, before we leave, you got anything to add, man?
Just thank you to everyone with the support. I've had friends, family reach out to me. Absolutely love what we do every Monday. Thank you for giving me all the feedback. If you guys love the episodes, just keep coming back because we're only going to get better with time going on, and we have so much fun doing every episode. We love doing it.
Yes, we're not even in football season yet, so
No,
it's just gonna get so much better,
it
so much
is.
more fun.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, all right, brother. Yeah, I'll see you next Monday. But
See you
yeah,
next
as
Monday, bro.
always, the J by the Bay faithful, thank you guys so much. Love you. Again, hit that subscribe button, please. Don't forget to check out all the content on the Instagram page at J by the Bay. But until next time, take care. God bless. Love you guys.
Love you guys.